Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I really wanted to change topics for this video and wanted to cover the Built Palladium card or the Capital One Venture X card. But I decided to stay the course and focus on the Citi Strata Elite as I promised in my last video. And the reason for that is because I've been seeing a lot of videos on YouTube comparing these two cards. And I felt like a number of YouTubers are not doing the comparison correctly. We'll get into it over the course of my next two videos, which is funny because when those two videos are released, I would be either going to Japan, in the case of my next video, or I would be in Japan, in the case of the video after that. But again, we get off topic here, to a degree. Let's focus on the here and the now, and the card that we are going to focus on, the Citi Strata Elite. So, Citi finally got a card joining the other, well, 3 out of the other big 4 before Built joined the party, that is, in regards to the upper tier credit cards. So originally it was the Platinum card, the Venture X, and the Sapphire Reserve. And Citi did not have an upper tier credit card until now. Sometime last year they released the Citi Strata Elite. So now the big 4, if you want to refer to them as that, all 4 of them now have upper tier credit cards with Citi joining the party. How good is this card though? Let's find out. Okay, so seeing how this is not a revamp or an update any kind, this is legitimately me reviewing more or less a brand new card. So this is going to be something different in comparison to 2 out of my past 3 videos where I reviewed the Platinum card and the Sapphire Reserve. So let's just jump straight into it. So we're going to start things off with the welcome offer, where if you sign up for the card as of me recording this video, that is, you would get 75,000 points after spending $6,000 within the first 3 months of you getting this card. And I'll be honest, out of all 5 of these upper tier credit cards that I'm going to be reviewing, or I have reviewed up to this point, this is the weakest welcome offer of them all. Now you probably wondering, wait a minute, $75,000, that's the same amount as you get with the Venture X. You get more than what you get with the Built Palladium card. How is this the weakest? Well, it's not the fact that you're just getting 75,000 points, but it's the requirement that you have to fulfill to get those points. Even looking at the Venture X, for example, which offer the same amount of points, but you still got to spend $4,000 within 3 months, not $6,000 in the case here. And even with the Built Palladium card, even though you're getting basically the lowest welcome offer in terms of 50,000 built points, but again, you have to spend $4,000 within 3 months to get that, and built points are valuable. They are really, really valuable. And even with the American Express Platinum card, where you got to spend $12,000 within 6 months, but keep that in mind, it's $12,000 within 6 months. So if you were to do the math, if you were to divide those numbers by 2, that equals $6,000 within 3 months. And guess what you're getting with that? 175,000 American Express points. And even if you were to divide the amount of points you would get by 2, you're looking at 87,500 points, which is still more than what you're getting with Citi. And even though the Chase Sapphire Reserve have you doing the same thing, you got to spend $6,000 within the first 3 months you get the card. At least with them, you're getting 125,000 points. So that's why I said this welcome offer is the weakest. It's not the least amount of points you'll get, but when you combine the amount of points you get in combination with the amount of work you have to do to get this amount, it's the weakest. But let's move on. The annual fee for this card is $595, and if you want to get an authorized user, it's going to cost you $75, which is better than the Chase Sapphire Reserve, mind you, but let's move on. Now, let's talk about the reward multiplier. You're looking at 12 times the points on hotels, car rentals, and attractions, all booked on the Citi's travel site, cititravel.com. You're also looking at 6 times the points on flights booked on that same website. You're looking at 6 times the points on restaurants on Citi nights. So basically, that's when you go out to eat or you get deliveries. You're going to get 6 times the points when you make those purchases between Friday and Saturday from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. on each day. This does not include carryouts, which is very interesting, but let's move on. Outside of Citi nights hours, you're going to get 3 times the points on restaurants, basically any other time, and you're going to get 1.5 times the points on all other purchases. And I'm going to be honest, the little brother version of this card, which is the Citi Strata Premier, as of right now, that is, it got better multipliers in my opinion. Let's take a look at this. So with the hotel car windows and attractions on the Citi Strata Premier, you're looking at 10 times the points when you book on the Citi Travel site. Okay, that's fine. You're going to get 3 times the points when you book directly with the airline. You're also going to get the same 3 times the points on restaurants, and it doesn't matter what time you get it. And this does include deliveries and carryouts. And you're going to get 1 time the points for everything else. However, you're going to get 3 times the points on hotels directly, and groceries, and gas and EV charging. So the fact that the Premier give you reward multipliers towards groceries, gas and EV charging, and you can book hotels directly and get points as well along with the airlines, I have to say the Premier have the better reward multipliers, in my honest opinion. Now let's talk about the benefits. So according to Citi, the benefits are worth, and this is a quote here, nearly $1,500 in value. And we'll be the judge of that. You're looking at $300 in an annual hotel credit that you can use, but you have to get a 2-night stay minimum or more, and this got to be booked on their portal site. You're also going to get $200 in annual splurge credit, so we're talking about up to 2 of the following brands. First Dibs, I have no clue what that is. American Airlines, exclusions apply. Best Buy, and there's a secret with that one, but I'm not going to say it here because knowing Citi, they may change it, but let's move on. Future Personal Training and Live Nation with exclusions apply. So really the 2 that you really want to mess with here are the American Airlines. More likely this will not count towards tickets. It's probably going to be along the lines of checking a bag, ordering food on the plane, something like that. Maybe an upgrade, I don't know, but make sure if you're very interested with them, make sure to see what these exclusions are. But if I had to pick one of those 2, that would be one of them. And the other is Best Buy. Again, there's a certain trick that you want to use if you don't shop with Best Buy like that. So those will be the 2 that I'll be using this splurge credit on, if I say so myself. You're also going to get $200 in annual Black Lane credit. And you're probably wondering, what the heck is Black Lane? So Black Lane is a more expensive version of Uber and Lyft. Now, let's talk about that credit though, because there's a restriction in regards to the credit. So you're gonna get a premium global chauffeur service and split up to 2 $100 credits that you can use semi-annually. If you were to Google search Black Lane, the #1 result that will come up is Black Lane, the global chauffeur service. So that gives you an idea of what this is. And let me talk about that credit. I just did a little search on their website, and their services would cost at least $134, as this is based on me going to the grocery store from my house. Not going to the airport, not going to some crazy venue in downtown or anything like that. This is my house to the grocery store, which is 10 minutes away, and they charge $134. With that $100 credit, you still got to pay something out of pocket. It don't matter where you go or how far or short the distance is, and to me, that is ridiculous. That is straight up ridiculous. Now, you could make this work if there's a bunch of you and y'all chip in like what, $5 each, and then somebody use the credit, then okay, whatever. If you want to be fancy or whatever, so be it. But if you're by yourself, or if it's just you and that significant other, just get an Uber or Lyft. You're also going to get Priority Pass, which is, according to Citi, is at a value of $469. And I'm going to just stop right here, because here's the deal about Priority Pass. Now, granted, I have not used Priority Pass yet, but based on what I have seen, whenever I'm going to fly somewhere, I'm looking up these lounges at the airports that I'm going to be at and see if whether or not I can use Priority Pass at any of these lounges. The ones, even though it's rare, based on my research anyway, the ones that I could use the Priority Pass on, those lounges are trash. So for them to say this is what, $469 in value, unless you're doing international traveling and you're going to hit up lounges in airports outside of America, this is not worth that. Even if you were to do that, it still is not worth that, in my honest opinion. No, I have not done that in terms of going to a lounge internationally where I can use my Priority Pass card. But no, I generally do not believe that a Priority Pass is not worth $469. But let's move on. You're also going to get 4 American Airlines Admirals Clubs per year. And they want to value that at over $300 in value. So if you're showing up to an airport with a family of 4, so if you and 3 others are going to the airport and y'all want to go to the American Airlines Admiral Club, that's it. All 4 of those passes are gone, because it's one for you, one for your significant other, and the other 2 are for your 2 kids. It's gone. That's it. It's not like each person gets one. No, it's just 4 that you can use. You can use all 4 on yourself, or you can use your 4 for 1 for you and the other 3 for other people. Either way, you're only going to get 4. To me, that's not enough in my honest opinion. And you're going to get up to $120 in credit towards global entry or TSA PreCheck. Now, the reason why this says up to is because TSA PreCheck does not cost $120. It costs about, what, $70 to $80? And global entry is really where you want to go because TSA PreCheck does come with global entry. That's why I said it's up to $120 in credit that you can use towards global entry or TSA PreCheck. Now, they also talks about the Supper Club, which is coveted dining experience, Citi Entertainment, and the Reserve by Citi Travel, and more information on that. This is where you go get offers on property benefits, including daily complimentary breakfast for 2, free Wi-Fi, and $100 experience credit varies by property, early check-in, late checkout, and rooms upgrade varies by property, obviously. Moving on, you're also going to get Citi Gold relationship credit, which is what, $145 in banking relationship annual credit. You're going to get Citi Gold private client relationship credit, which is what, $595 the first year when you establish that banking relationship. And after that, it's going to be $145 credit each year. You also be looking at travel and shopping protection, no foreign transaction fees, security and protection, and card management. Now, what about my plans for this card? Will I get this card? No, I will not be getting this card. Now, do I see myself getting this card? No, I do not see myself getting this card. And the reason why is because these benefits are crap. They really, really are crap. In terms of the upper tier credit cards that have the best loads of benefits, that's the American Express Platinum card. And even though the Chase Sapphire Reserve is trying to be like the American Express Platinum card, but failed at it, but their benefits are still better than this, if I being honest right here. So, on that note, who is this card for? And I'm going to be genuinely honest. I have no idea. Because with the American Express Platinum card, I can make a case for some people, or wait, not some people, but most people to get that card and to use those benefits, because those benefits are good for the general public. And even with the Chase Sapphire Reserve, those benefits are more towards upper tier folks and for folks who have families who could potentially find use for those benefits. These benefits right here from the Citi Strata Elite, I generally don't see who can benefit from this. I really, really, really don't. Because the whole hotel credit thing, the Avengers got that beat, because instead of you having to book 2 nights or more, whatever the case may be, it's just you can book 1 night and use the $300, or you can even book a flight. So the Avengers is better, and not to mention, Capital One got the best portal site, where I've been hearing rumors about how Citi's portal site and their customer service, to be exact, is the worst. Granted, I have used Citi's portal site a handful of times. It's not bad, but it's nowhere near Capital One's portal site with their features that they have available for you. The splurge credit is okay, I guess, because if you're not a fan of American Airlines, if you're not a fan of Best Buy, again, there is a workaround with the Best Buy. I can't say what it is here, but nevertheless, if you're not a fan of American Airlines, if you're not a fan of Best Buy, then the whole First Deals, Live Nation, and Future Personal Training, I don't see a lot of people using these services. And don't get me started again on the black lane. Do not get me started on the black lane. So overall, these I generally have no clue who these benefits for. This is where I need you guys to educate me. So if you know of a certain group of people who can take advantage of these benefits, let me know in the comment section below. Educate me, because I generally have no clue why anybody would get this card. I generally have no clue why anybody would do that. And to backtrack, even if you were to use the annual hotel credit and you use the annual splurge credit on Best Buy and or American Airlines, that's still $500 out of the $595, and at that point you might as well just get the Citi Strata Premier, because with them you're gonna get a $50 hotel credit, knocking that down from $95 to $45. With this, the best you can do is knock it down from $595 to $95. So I'm gonna be honest, I don't see why anybody would get this card. I generally do not see why anybody would get this card. And on a nicer note, looking at the global entry credit, keep in mind this is for every 5 years. So that $120 credit, or let me rephrase that up to $120 credit is really broken out to $24 a year. So that first year is $24 of credit that you could potentially use. So keep that in mind as well. So with all that said, where does this card rank amongst the upper tier credit cards? First of all, it's going to be behind the VanJack. That's number one without question. It's going to be behind the American Express Platinum card. That's just number 2 right there. That's no question as well. I thought that this might have a shot to take the number 3 spot ahead of the Chase Sapphire Reserve, but after going through everything that the Citi Strata Elite has, no, it is not. The Chase Sapphire Reserve is better than this. That leads us to an interesting point. Is this in 4th place or is this in 5th place? We're going to find out in my next video because I will be reviewing the Built Palladium card and you do not want to miss that video. You do not want to miss that video. So basically the bottom line is this. Get the Citi Strata Premier. This is the card that I'll be going for next right here, the Citi Strata Premier. As it stands right now, because there's rumors that change might be coming to that card, and hopefully that rumor isn't true, but we'll see what happens over the course of the next few months. But nevertheless, this is True Inferno, and I'll see you guys in the next one.